you all very much. It's great to be back. It's great to be back. It's the second X Day I'm attending, and it's better than the first X Day, which I didn't think I would say. But congratulations, MultiversX. You guys rock. A year ago, I was in Paris, and I noticed how little Paris conquered big Paris. And the fact that the Romanian flag was all over the Palais de Bourse, and MultiversX was an example for all of France and all of the world. And you're all really part of that story. So it gives me great pleasure to be back to an even better event. And it should be better because it's in Bucharest. And I believe that Romania is indeed leading. I don't want to be humble, but I think you shouldn't be humble either. Romania is a leader. You all are leaders. Through what you do, you're an example, especially for Europe, but for all mankind. And they're not big words. I think if you look at what you have accomplished, what you are doing every single day, you have every reason to be proud. This morning, I arrived home at around 5 a.m. after 48 hours in Ukraine. It took a long time to get there. It involved planes, trains, and automobiles, to quote the famous movie. And if you think that your life is full of problems, think again. Our friends in Ukraine don't know if they will wake up the next morning. And what they have done is truly a wonderful proof of heroism and leadership and courage. And in that long trip, I got to do some thinking. And I remember the story that I think applies very well to the world we currently live in. And some of you might have read it. It's a short story, but I'll share it with you quickly. It's called Who Stole My Cheese? Anybody know that story? At least one person. Well, it's about mice and men, really. It's two mice and two little humans running around through a maze in search of cheese. That cheese is everything they live for. It's their dreams, their aspirations. It's really what gives them a sense of purpose. So the mice are sniff and scurry, and the men are hem and haw. And so at some point, the mice run ahead and they find a cheese station. They call it Cheese Station C. And it's the greatest amount of cheese that they had ever imagined. And not before long, the humans get there. And so they just camp there. And every single day they wake up and they start enjoying the cheese. But something's happening, and only the mice notice it. The mice notice that every day there's less cheese in Station C. And so they begin to plan. What are they going to do when the cheese runs out? They begin to venture out again into the maze. And eventually, they find out another cheese station that was 10 times better, even more cheese than in Station C. What do the men do? Well, first of all, they haven't noticed that there's less cheese until the cheese is gone. So they feel unjustly punished by what has happened, and they start complaining. Then they start thinking that somebody's going to put that cheese back right where it was before. Except day after day after day goes by, and still no cheese. Eventually, one of the humans decides to leave that station, the empty station, and venture back out into the maze. And the main question that he has to face is this: What would I do if I wasn't afraid? What would I do if I wasn't afraid? He ventures back out, he finds the cheese. He eventually goes back for his friend and tells him, look, I found this cheese. The guy says, no, it's impossible. You're lying. You still haven't found anything. I'm going to wait right here. I'm not going to change. It's too scary to venture back out into the maze. The moral of the story is, indeed, as somebody famous once said, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. We live in a world that's changing more rapidly than ever before. I'm sure you wake up every morning and think to yourself, what the hell is happening? There's war, there's violence, there's loss of human life, but there's also innovation and new solutions and change that some decide to embrace and others fear. I think that in this room, at this X Day, we have the privilege to be surrounded by people who embrace change, who love it, who love the idea that they can invent something new. And I think the world is so screwed up today that we indeed need to think completely out of the box. I shy away from introducing myself as a politician, but I am. And I think that the greatest challenge out of everybody is among politicians. We tend to fear change, and we tend to not understand new technologies. So this is a challenge to you all to educate us and explain the world that lies out there for us to leverage, to benefit from, to embrace. Please do that and help educate us for a better world. As you go on into this journey, there are many challenges, and all of you have innovated. You've started something new. You've tried something new. I'm sure there was at least one person there who told you not to do it. And there will be many more, because the easiest thing you can do is nothing. Be content with where you are and just give up. But I want to leave you with one of my stories from years ago when I decided to come back to this country. I was a very successful and content cheese eater at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. And I had a great salary, I had a great career, I had every reason in the world to stay in Washington and continue my job. But then something happened. One of the people I loved most in the world passed away. He was my grandfather. And before passing away, though, he had a conversation with me on his deathbed. I just lucked out and was on a trip to Romania, on a work trip. And I visited him, and with some of his last strength, he said to me, come back. This is your country. Come back. And I started explaining why I can't come back and all the things I feared about coming back. I can't leave the US. I went to school there. I had a career. I can't do it now. It's too risky. I'm going to start from scratch. Nobody's going to appreciate that. Few people did, by the way. And then he said these words that stuck with me until I did come back. He said, you say you can't? Well, in life, don't do what you can. Do what you must. Do what you must. As you continue your journey, please do what you must. And when you find those people who tell you that it cannot be done, look around you. Look around you in this room. You will find plenty of people who say it can be done and it will be done. If not in your lifetime, at least for the next generations. Do not lose that hope. Do not lose that determination. Inspire the world, keep doing great things, and keep giving us an opportunity to dream and get there. Thank you, and thank you, MultiversX, Benjamin Minku, everybody who's a part of this. Thank you.